Hello, my sister. I'm here basically it is one of the topic that is degradation basically it is one of the topic that is data manipulation. In this basically we are discussing one of the topic that is human basically have the power basically that he can reach up to the universe also basically. So one of the universe person told that basically if they basically breaks your head then basically it's very difficult basically to reach to that basically. For that basically they can do up to that level also basically. They can break the head also basically if the universe group will track that basically this person basically is writing this whole thing basically they tracks the they basically damage the head also basically up to that level basically they are very serious about the universe basically they are very serious about the universe. Few people says that the each and every software company basically they are connected with the universe only basically. For example, this design you can see basically this each design basically are connected with the software companies basically on the base of blood group owner basically, and each blood group owner basically are connected with the set of software companies basically. So you can just imagine basically software companies are always connected everywhere basically. They basically can't access the laptop basically. For example, the things basically which I am telling basically they basically they don't have any rights basically, but they can few people says that basically they can purchase the rights basically by giving the business to the laptop company basically. And business basically is very bad basically, it might create problem in future also basically. One of the person told that also basically. So business is very bad basically, and you can't access anyone's laptop basically without asking his permission basically. So assume that basically this is the world basically, and this is the business world basically. Business world means basically, for example, one of the person told that each and every laptop information basically gets leaked basically, is going to leak basically. Why? I will take one example. For example, assume that basically one of the person basically purchased the laptop basically, so he basically need to rotate the business also basically. They basically forcefully use the data of that particular person basically, how many group basically is connected, like this basically they keeps on rotating the contacts. If they are getting the laptop business basically then it's okay, otherwise basically they will create the problem to that laptop person also basically, and this is very bad sales basically. It's not good sales basically, this is very bad sales basically, and this basically are done by the current generation and already done. Current generation basically will do that activities only basically who basically are which basically are done by the past generation basically. They basically are not basically coming directly from the sky basically, they are basically learning here only in our planet only. Whatever things basically they are seeing, whatever things basically they are getting the ideas, they are only basically doing that only basically. So this is also very bad business basically. By watching the laptop basically, what the particular person is doing, what is he is doing, what that particular person is doing. So this is basically called as a jasusi basically, and this type of jasusi basically Russia group basically do basically. Russia group basically do this type of activity basically. They keeps on watching in the laptop basically, keeps on watching the computers, keeps on watching this that basically each and everything basically they keeps on watching basically just to give the information basically, and like this basically they are earning basically lots of money basically. One of the person told that if Russia basically country is exist now basically, that is on the base of information only basically. He basically just passing the information and earning the money basically. On the basis of that information only basically he is having his Russian country basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the information of income information basically are connected basically. That is the news channel also. In other language basically, in media language basically it is called as a news channel basically. So you can just imagine basically. You can just imagine basically. One of the person told that how dangerous the world is basically. And world really is very dangerous basically. I will take one example basically. This chain basically you can see basically. This is the chain basically. This see basically. This is actually one chain basically. This is one chain basically. And this chain basically generates this design. And this design basically generates planets. And this planets basically creates lots of human souls basically from in the universe on the base of set of planets basically. And that human souls are basically used by used by the earth planet, and it's a chain of this group basically. That is this group basically. I have taken one example. This person basically is a Maharashtrian person, and he basically have 2 crore human souls allocated by the universe basically. You can just imagine basically. So anybody, if basically any person basically is going to uh, damage this person basically, then basically the universe group basically is going to take the action basically. So if universe group basically is going to take action basically, then you can just imagine basically the government basically is nothing basically in front of him basically. And if anybody person basically asks this particular person that basically who is the USA president basically, he can't give basically, but he can basically do anything basically with that particular person basically. Up to that level powerful basically he is, because he basically killed this person basically. That is this basically. Not this person basically. Currently he is a US president basically. This person basically. This person basically was killed basically by that person basically. That basically we have already discussed. This person. So this is one story basically which is already generated basically, and it has connected to the this design basically. So you can just imagine basically it's very dangerous world basically. That's why basically whenever the integration basically happens basically in this world basically, in the from the universe basically, the people basically dies basically for millisecond basically, and this is the only option basically the universe group has find basically. Assume that basically Sunil R. Nair basically died basically suddenly basically, when Sunil R. Nair basically was sleeping basically, Sunil R. Nair basically died. Just taking as an example basically. So anything is going to affect basically in universe? Nothing is going to affect. Why? Because they have breaked each and every chains basically. They basically daily basically kills one person. Daily basically they kills the particular person basically. So like this basically they keeps on breaking the chain of the particular person basically. You can just imagine basically. Each person basically dies daily basically. So like this basically they are killing, breaking the chain basically. So that basically the universe group know that basically up to what level powerful the human is basically. So that's why they breaks the chain by killing that particular person basically daily basically when he is sleeping basically. So you can just imagine basically how dangerous the universe group basically are also basically. And in this basically assume that basically by killing each and every people basically, assume that basically in night Sunil R. Nair basically sleeping, and Sunil R. Nair basically died basically. So anything is going to happen in universe basically? No. Why? Because the universe group basically are daily basically breaking the chain basically. And while breaking the chain basically the chain gets break basically. If chain gets breaks, then basically you can just imagine basically. So next video basically we are going to show little bit about this.